no!
Today on PewView, the new BRN-180 Generation 3. Today we're going to be going over some of the changes that they made with the new Gen 3 versus the Gen 1 and the Gen 2. We got all three rifles out here. We're going to do some comparisons. We're going to talk the pros and the cons of all the generations and talk about why they decided to make the changes on the Gen 3. Because as I'm sure most of you know from previous videos, the Generation 1 is one of my favorite rifles. So it's going to take a lot of upgrades for me to want to switch from this to something like this. Let's start with where they came from and then talk about where they're going with the Generation 3. I should start off by saying these are just uppers that go on any regular AR-15 lower that you want, but the plus side is that you can have the 1913 pick rail in the back and put any stock or AR-15 buffer with your regular stock here. Obviously more than welcome to do that. I like the bufferless folding stocks. I think they look a lot better on an AR-15 piston-driven platform. I think it looks cool. For the Gen 1, you can really see the similarities between the BRN-180 and the AR-18 from Eugene Stoner. Kind of try to keep that same lower look, the upper look. They have this hook here, the reciprocating charging handle on the right side. I think this look is awesome, but as you may have guessed, there was a lot of complaints about, you know, this giant gap in the back, and people having concerns with failures from debris and stuff getting in there. This does have the dust cover, so I was never concerned about that. And as you can see from peeking inside of this old girl, I have used the hell out of it. It is dirty, and I don't clean my guns very often. I don't think they sell these lowers anymore, and this was obviously Eugene Stoner just designed with that cutout right here. Unfortunately, because again, I like the look. They're not very practical. It's pretty damn hard to get a magazine in here, and it's just goofy. It's not very modern, and it doesn't work very well. So people wanted to do away with that. They didn't want the two-piece handrail here. It's more screws. It's more shit to deal with. People were complaining about the gap in the pick rail here and the adjustment system on the piston being a little bit difficult to get hold of. So Brownells, being a company that really listens to their customers, wanted to make a few upgrades to make everybody happy. Now, again, personally, I love the old-fashioned gun with a modern twist. I like that idea. I like decking out old guns and making them cooler. And again, Brownells made the AR-18 just better materials, it's cycled better, it looks better. I'm a giant fan of the Gen 1 and kind of upset that they went away with it, but it was for the better, which brings us to Generation 2. So on the Gen 2, they fixed that issue. It's a little bit easier to get to the gas system, and it's all one piece. You can put your D-ball on there if you wanted to. Then they got away with the dust cover. Still the same rail though, and it's still a reciprocating charging handle on the right side. So people's complaints were they wanted a one piece. They wanted an easier adjustment with the gas piston here, and they wanted a non-reciprocating charging handle that they could actually reach on the other side. Bam! Now you got a one-piece handguard right here. You got a super easy adjustable 3-position gas piston, which you could just turn with your hands. They finally put some cutie sling mounts in here, and I kind of like the way it looks, that it's slanted right there. Another complaint people had is with the Generation 1 and the 2, when they were taking this thing apart, this thing would just fly across the room. There's nothing to keep that captured inside of here, but mine is so damn dirty that I don't need to worry about that. But you can imagine that normal people that keep their guns pretty damn clean have an issue with trying to break apart their guns and that thing just kind of shooting across the room. Like, you know, Dalton putting a hole in my ceiling the other day, just popping one of them things out and went, ain't that right, Dalton?
I don't want to talk about it.
So, same concept over here with the Generation 2. There's nothing to keep them springs retained inside of here. So, it just springs out. And you gotta kind of pinch it together. Again, personally, didn't see an issue with any of these. I like the Gen 1, I like the Gen 2, but again, Brownells listens to their customers. They're always willing to make changes to make everybody else happy. So one of the reasons they are one of my favorite companies. So now we got this tab in here, kind of retaining everything. So you just get the pressure off and then you switch this little thing up. Probably can't show the process of that, but that's how the hole got in the ceiling right there. Okay, so anyways, just a little piece of plastic that locks there, so you don't gotta worry about that jumping out at you. And obviously they put a non-reciprocating charging handle over on the left side, so now everything is closed up. You don't gotta worry about debris or mud or sand or whatever the hell getting in there and stopping your bolt. Another issue people were having with the Gen 1s and the Gen 2 was bolt bounce. So without that cam lock in there, you were having your bolt bounce back and people are getting light primer strikes. They no longer have that. Now they got the cam lock on the bolt. Over on this side of the gun, you no longer have that right side charging handle like you do on the Generation 1 and the 2, which if you're an AK shooter, you probably don't mind this. You don't mind coming around the gun. It feels a little bit, you know, communism. So I'm kind of glad they went on the left side with the Generation 3. So if you're used to coming off with your left hand and charging your gun, this isn't going to be much difference for you. It's going to be about the same amount of speed. Again, later on in this video, we're going to put that to the test. But I do like that the bolt is a little more protected. They got that piece of plastic that kind of protects everything, and the rubber gasket over on the other side. Not only is it a little bit more functional, it's a little bit more modern, and it's a hell of a lot more practical. Same concept though. It's a piston upper you can slap on any AR-15 lower. This is just a Lancer LS5 because I like the gaping magwell there. And again, the 1913 pick rail where you can put any stock you want on it. Little rundown of this rifle. We got the EO tag, we got the G3 magnifier, we got the Q Southpaw. Shout out to Silencer Shop. It only took me 3 days to get that back. We got a D-ball, we got a Surefire Ultra with the Unity, the buttons that turn on the stuff and things. But also shout out to Brownells. Them guys are just always hooking me up with stuff to make these builds look as cool as possible for you guys. And for us to review, to let you guys know if it's worth spending the money on them. So anyways, let's shoot this thing. Or do we start with a Gen 1? What do we start with?
I would go Gen 1 and up.
All right, we'll do that. All right, so I probably should have mentioned that the Generation 1, I got this one chambered in 300 blackout. The other two are 223. This is a full 16-inch. This is a 13.9 pinned and welded. This is a 10.5 300 blackout. Got the Cat ODB on here, 30 cal suppressor. We got the J-Mac folding mech, the arm bar, and the Gearhead Works tail hook. I do have a full video on that. I'll link that right here if you guys want to see the ultimate truck gun. This is still my go-to for a truck gun. I love this rifle. That one is brutal. But anyways, let's shoot. How bad does that sound on your mic?
I don't think it's bad.
I can see that dead cat whipping. I'm just gonna go in the dirt. Now, the reason this is one of my favorite 300 blackout is 300 blackout supersonic seems to be a little bit snappy and it's a little uncontrollable. Now with the piston driven AR rifle, it's just so smooth. This is my favorite 300 blackout. Like I don't have that snap. It's like a gentle recoil. I don't know how to explain that. It kind of reminds me of a 45 ACP, just fat and slow.
Soft push, not a hard jab.
Exactly. A nice soft little. So this being open on the left side of this, your hand just kind of gets covered in shit. A downfall to most people. I don't really give a shit. I like this gun. Really loud on steel, but this Cat ODB in the dirt is fantastic. And again, I'm shooting 147 supersonic ammo. All right, now we got the BRN-180 Generation 2. It's so soft recoiling. It feels like half the recoil of a DI gun, which is unheard of for a piston. Usually piston gives you a little bit more recoil. Good muzzle brake on a BRN-180, it doesn't move. I also really enjoyed the Generation 2. Now, I will say that I like the charging handle better on the Gen 1. I'm not sure why they took away the dust cover and put this little knob in here. Again, they're just listening to the consumers. So, Gen 3. So obviously, I got a lot more shit on this rifle. It's substantially heavier, so the recoil should be less. Definitely feels softer with the suppressor. I got a little more muzzle rise versus a muzzle brake, but something else I wanted to talk about is slinging up your rifle. With the Gen 1 and the Gen 2, they did not have QD points. There's nothing to attach your sling to. As you can see, I got nowhere other than right here on the brace to hook a sling to. Of course, there is a bunch of different sling options. You can get like the QG sling, and that will just connect to any M-LOK slot or wrap it around whatever the hell you want. So there is options out there, but that's one of the things they upgraded with the Generation 3. Now you have sling points kind of everywhere. You got a couple up front, and of course the Midwest Industry stock, you got one right here. So another downfall about running a charging handle on the right side when you're doing transitions, if you do put a sling on this, you go to throw your rifle down to grab your pistol, this charging handle smacks you in the hip and it does not feel very good. Another reason I'm not a giant fan of AKs. So with something like that, they fixed that. We're gonna demonstrate that right quick. I'm gonna put on a pistol and a holster and do some transitions just so I can see how it feels. So touching a little bit more on that, there is 1,000 different ways that you can sling up your rifle. There's a bunch of different QD points. It's all user preference. This is how I run my sling, so that works for me. The charging handle on the left side just makes more sense for me. Now, Dalton just tried it out, and it doesn't really make sense for him. He's gonna drop it this way to be able to transition to his gun. So the Gen 1 or the Gen 2 is gonna be a little bit better for him. Anyways, let's run this live so you can see what I mean. This is frangible ammo, so don't do this at home. We are very close to steel right now. This is like 20 yards, maybe 15-ish. Just don't do this.
Stand by.
Everything's out of my way.
158.
Alright, I want to try something just so I can test the differences between the charging handles and why they may have changed what they did. So we're going to start with the magazines inside of the gun. On the timer, pick them up and charge them, get 1 round on the target. We'll see if the new charging system is going to be faster than the old one. Now I imagine something like this is going to be a little bit quicker for the guys that run AKs since they're used to coming around the back or over the top or whatever to charge your rifles. And I assume something like this that is on the left side is going to be easier for the AR guys. So with the job I have, I'm used to a little bit of both, so it should be fairly equal. Let's find out. Starting with a BRN-180 300 blackout. On the timer, I'm just gonna pick it up, charge it, 1 round on the target.
Ready?
Yep.
Swing by. It doesn't pick it up because it's suppressed.
I don't think that's gonna tell us as much because obviously I can have like something good. So I'm gonna be pointing at the target, and when I hear that, then I'm gonna rack it. I feel like then that takes away this, right? Because obviously that weighs twice what this does. So at the target, and then I'm going to charge it and get 1 round in. Okay. All right, we got a 129 on that. Go over to the Gen 2. Again, same concept, just a little less to grab onto here.
Oh no!
Holy fuck. It went gone for a second there. Like, I can barely hear myself talking right now. Suppressors are cool until you get fucking used to them and forget that some guns don't have them. Ow! 127. I can't think right now. That just smoothed out my brain. That fucking sucked. Now this one is quite a bit heavier. I got, you know, everything under the sun I could possibly fit on this rifle on it. So manipulating it is going to be a little bit slower than the lighter rifles. But can we make that up with the left side charging hand? Yes, we can. 122. I didn't have to come off the gun to get underneath of it. I can keep it right here. 119. So obviously not having to come off the gun and go around it underneath of it is going to be quite a bit quicker. I can keep it shouldered. I can keep my right hand where it needs to be.
Can you just like pull the charging handle and pull the trigger?
I mean, that's fucking cheating, but yes, yes I can. 0.93. So yeah, obviously there's benefits to having a non-reciprocating charging handle on the left side. Especially for somebody like me, I prefer ARs over AKs, so manipulating going underneath or over top isn't as quick for me. Again, there could be some AK guys out there that, dude, my ears are just fucking screaming. Wear hearing protection. So I think we can all agree that the Gen 3 really upgraded the things that needed to be upgraded. Shout out to Brownhouse for really listening to their people. Everybody had complaints about something or another, and they actually fixed it. Not only did they fix it, I think they exceeded everybody's expectations. I think they crushed this. They knocked it out of the park. I fucking love it. I do want a shorter version, maybe a 10.5, 300 blackout. There's a bald eagle. That's how American this fucking gun is. You wanted to stop by and say, fuck yeah, caw. My ears hurt. Freedom is ringing hard today. Anyways, I think these guys crushed it. They knocked it out of the park. I want to get a 10.5, maybe 300 blackout, and then, you know, maybe, oh just maybe, I get a new truck. The Gen 3, it's it. And again, a brand new one of these things is going to one of you guys, along with $2,000 cash. If you're interested in testing your luck, hit that link down in the description below. Anyways, that's all we got for you guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.